Hey everyone, welcome back to the American LFC show with myself and Salim. And I guess we should be two happy Liverpool supporters tonight, Salim.
Absolutely. Good performance, good outcome, good result, everything. The new boys are really kind of starting to stamp their names and their skill set on the season and the team. And then obviously the emotional goal at the end from Konate after his father passed away last week. So um, all around, just really, really good, good performance. Feels good. Very happy for sure.
Well, I don't know what you thought, but up until Liverpool's first goal, it looked like Newcastle was the home team. Um, I thought Liverpool, I mean, obviously there was the performance in midweek in the Champions League against Qarabağ, which we all agreed was against a team of lesser ability. But it seemed for a long time, to me anyway, I don't know if you felt the same, that Liverpool were basically back on their heels. Newcastle took the game to us. And Liverpool fell into the trap that we've seen so many times this season of just passing the ball around on the halfway line. And then basically the game turned between Ekitike and Wirtz, who obviously are rapidly becoming Liverpool's future.
Yeah, no, I agree, Coach. Slow start. Interesting lineup from Eddie Howe and Newcastle, not having Voltamata or Visa out there and having Gordon kind of patrol down the middle. So, I think they were probably looking for pace. But yeah, I think once the first goal came for Liverpool to tie it up, the second one came very quickly. And what a great take by Ekitike. I mean, found the space. Kirk has knocked it to him, and he just kind of slowed down, sped up, and then toe poked. And I think that right after that, it was for the majority of the time all Liverpool.
Right. So basically the game turned. The game turned on those two quick goals. And then we started to see a much better performance from Liverpool in all areas. At the back, as the commentators were pointing out, Konate looked very solid and assured.
Mm-hmm.
Feel looked good, and then we looked dangerous up front. And again, to play devil's advocate, I mean, this is a team that that weren't sitting in and saying, "Come on, come and get us," type of thing. They were trying to play, and obviously that enables Liverpool to show a better side to the way that they play.
Yeah, it's interesting when they play big teams that are attack minded, that are not quote unquote scared of Liverpool or the talent, is when Liverpool seems to shine. So it was, but just overall, just seeing kind of going down 1-0 and coming back, and when they scored right away, when Newcastle scored, I don't know, in the 20th minute or something like that, I was just like, oh no, here we go. But they changed that really quickly. Coach, as the low block is something Liverpool always has faced for the most part, and will continue to face with the talent that they're adding. And obviously there's some holes here and there, and which they'll address, and I think that's a time for another conversation. How can they start to break those kinds of games down? Because these kinds of games, I think we feel relatively comfortable with Liverpool and the performance they can put in.
I mean, I just like to see Liverpool when they're coming up against a low block team, and really any team coming out, as we talked about this in the previous podcast about the DNA of the club, is Liverpool traditionally, going back to the era of Bill Shankly, always came out fast out the blocks. That was one of their trademarks. And clearly the Jurgen Klopp era more than reflected that. But yet, for some reason, I mean, there's been all kinds of stats about how few goals Liverpool have scored in the first half, and then the low number of shots that Liverpool take compared to previous campaigns and what have you. So, I mean, look, I think it's pretty predictable. I mean, like the next game's against Manchester City. I don't think Manchester City will employ a low block. I mean, so like that's a different story. But the next time when they play Everton, I mean, even though Everton's at home, I mean, I think Everton will probably enter the game and try to play it tight at the back. And so I think that Liverpool, I'd like to see them in these kind of games coming out the blocks faster and not letting the low block team settle.
Yeah.
So I think that's the big thing, because I think from now to the end of the season, obviously we have to see how all of the results go. I mean, this has been a better week after the huge disappointment at Bournemouth. Like they've played 2 games at home and have scored 10 goals. I didn't think it was a 4-1 game, by the way, today. But anyway, the point is, that they did get 4 goals. They were obviously taking a lot more attempts at goal, and clearly that was the case in the Champions League too. But I think Arne Slot, whether you like it or not, is under the microscope, and he's being judged. And it's kind of amazing when you think of it overall, because his first season he did so well. And then this season has really been a struggle. So you can kind of say, okay, there's been substantial change to the squad. Okay. And then there was the tragedy of Jota. Okay. But for so many games, it's either the style has been slow and ponderous, or there's not really been an attacking style of play that we can kind of identify easily. It's just kind of been wishy-washy. And so what is going to happen from now on in, hopefully these 2 games we've had this week will kind of lead to a more positive front foot type of football. And I think that's what, I think that's what Liverpool fans will be hoping for, obviously, because, I mean, the fans were certainly getting, they were getting on Slot's back, and the whole world knew that we were tired of this kind of very, very slow pass the ball in midfield. And as I say, we saw that for a little bit today, with Liverpool just passing the ball along the halfway line, and it was just going backwards and forwards, and the team's not really going anywhere.
Yeah, the half spaces that they can expose, whether it's kind of dribbling through them. I thought Gravenberch did kind of had a flashback to last year when he was splitting defenses and driving forward. I think he gets stuck at some point when he's driving forward, which he has to figure out. But I thought he played really well too. And yeah, the low block is just going to be something that they have to figure out. But Coach, I think that's, you make a really good point. In the first 5-10 minutes, really kind of get after them and unsettle them. And then, if you go up 1 or 2 goals, I mean, let's say 1, for example, in the first 7-8 minutes, that low block has to come out at some point. And, right. And then that's when you can capitalize.
Yeah, I think there's been too many games when obviously the manager knows, that the other team is going to sit in. And so if you don't come out hard at them, then you're letting them do it, in the sense that they get comfortable, they get settled, and it just wastes, it wastes the opportunity to really set a tone for the game. And I think that's something that Liverpool have failed to do in quite a lot of games this year. They haven't really set a tone.
Coach, Mohamed Salah today, still a lot of the same kind of stuff, but he did get the assist over to Wirtz. Missed a pretty good opportunity, but it's the dribbling and taking on defenders one-on-one that's gone. I can't tell you the last time I seen him get by anybody. I mean, it's tough to watch.
Right. I mean, obviously he didn't cost the team anything today, and he did set up the Wirtz goal. So I give him credit. I feel that he's in the basically with the hope that maybe he does 1 or 2 good things. I mean, like you saw in the first half where he was put through, and running with him was Kieran Trippier. So like they're both veteran players, and to the naked eye, it appeared that he was pulling away a little bit from Trippier, but for some reason, like the obvious thing to do in that situation is cut across the defender,
right?
Which means the only thing that they can do is foul you. And if he cuts across the defender, he brings it onto his left foot, which is what he's wanting to do the whole time. And he also had the opportunity in the second half where it appeared he tried to toe poke the ball in at the near post. And really, that's a right foot shot.
Right.
And I mean, he scored enough goals with his right foot as well, but maybe he just lacks the belief and the confidence right now. And I mean, for me, as I say, up until the first goal, I was looking at the way that Liverpool are playing, and I'm thinking, gosh, there's no way you can really start Salah and also Kirkes as well. And then, as I say, the game changed. Kirkus definitely set up the second goal. It was a great ball through to Ekitike. But my gut feeling is, that when it comes to crunch times, that you're better off, you're better off with Robertson at left back, and you're better off with somebody else than Salah on the right wing. And I know that might sound harsh to say, because it's always going to come down. I mean, like he was substituted today in the last 10 minutes, and it probably wasn't a big deal today, because Liverpool had won the game comfortably. Okay, he hadn't scored a goal, but maybe from his point of view, he'd set something up. But really, if Liverpool hadn't have scored and it had gone like that into the second half, like you've got to hook him.
Yeah.
And I don't care what anybody says. I mean, I know Gakpo's under a lot of pressure from fans, but he had a good game today, actually.
Me too.
But, but even if Gakpo's not playing well, he'll help out more defensively. And based on this season, he scored more than Salah, not by much, but he scored a goal or two more than Salah this year. So, so he does carry a goal threat. Even though he's a little bit predictable. But, I mean, I can say that's about Salah as well. I mean, Gakpo just does the same thing that Salah does. It's just on the other side of the field. They like to cut inside the inverted winger, go for goal. And
I think the angles that they create are different, though, because Salah is going towards goal.
True.
And can cut in, and Gakpo goes down the line and then cuts in. So it's they just create separate angles. But you're right, though. They are inverted wingers. They are trying to get it on their dominant foot and strike the ball. Coach, the Arne Slot heat now probably will cool off a little bit, but he's definitely not off the hot seat. So, Manchester City up next. That's at home, right? That is at Liverpool. That is at Anfield. So, what are you expecting there? Is it Robertson's game? Is there anything that City are doing that is something that we need to really worry about? Obviously, they're a good team. Haaland's good, and Semenyo's good, and they've added some key pieces. They're a good team, but is there anything that sticks out to you?
Well, they seem to be getting more results. I mean, like they're not the City of a few years ago, but I feel that they're more likely to charge Arsenal for the title this year than Aston Villa, although I think we'd probably all like to see Aston Villa win it.
Right.
It's a big week for Arne Slot because obviously if they go out and they get a result next week and they play well, I mean, that'll certainly cool, a lot of the heat that he's feeling right now. I think the one thing that we can expect is that they're going to target the fullbacks. They will definitely try to do that. So you'll have Dorgu. I mean, I'm assuming he will play Szoboszlai again. And then on the other side, well, you saw what Semenyo did to Kirkes in the first game of the season.
Right.
I think that that's pretty predictable, and it's a shame. It's a shame. I mean, we've talked about Szoboszlai at right back before, and it was something that he actually played in one of the preseason games, and I think that was to try to recreate the Trent possibilities for a right full back, because he has that ability to play a long ball.
Mm-hmm.
But the way that it's worked out is because of injuries. He's back there with more of a defensive mandate than a Trent Mark II mandate. And so we know that, Dorgu was phenomenal in the first game against Liverpool. And so, yeah, he will certainly be backtracked there. And then, as I said earlier, you had Semenyo against Kerkers. I mean, I would play Robertson, but I don't think he will. And I think he will almost certainly play Szoboszlai. And unfortunately, Szoboszlai, he's been on form this season, as we all know. He's been one player that we can count on, but it weakens the team to take him out of midfield. And now you're going to come up against a midfield that is functioning pretty well. And so you really need your best horses for courses there. And you identified correctly that Gravenberch can run with the ball. And I mean, that's something that Liverpool need. And so, so can Dominik Szoboszlai. So you're taking out two players that are very good at that. I mean, like the other alternatives are Jones, who, yeah, he can dwell a bit on the ball. He has improved. He's a good player. I mean, there's no question about it. And then McAllister, who isn't really a runner with the ball. So he's not
a runner at all. It seems like he can't even get back on defense.
yeah, he's more of a sitting player, and he challenges, and he can play some passes, but he's not kind of a long ball kind of merchant. He's more of the clever little balls in the midfield. And then, of course, he's quite good at stealing into the edge of the box and maybe picking up a goal or two, as he's done many times. And actually, he almost did it again today.
Yep.
So he's worth his place. So then it falls a bit on Florian Wirtz to be the third midfield player. And yes, he's on form. But for me, if you look at the personnel that Liverpool have, playing the box midfield, I feel is their best route forward. And especially once Isak comes back into the mix, because then you can play with two strikers up front. Isak's obviously not ready to go, but if you play Salah up there, it takes away some of his defensive responsibilities, because when you're under pressure, I mean, as I said earlier with Gakpo will go back and help out defensively.
Mm-hmm.
Mo Salah's not going to do that. So I think that you've got to put him into a position where there's less emphasis on that if you're going to get hopefully more of a fruitful game against opposing teams. But then the other issue is that obviously they've got the right back issue right now. So I mean, will Gomez be ready to go next week? Probably not. He doesn't want to seem to play Calvin Ramsey. And I mean, it would be a tough game to throw him in. I mean, in terms of the bigger picture, I think the one thing that's tough for Arne Slot is he doesn't really want to rotate. And I mean, he doesn't want to. I mean, like, he's complained a bit about players playing too much. And I think one of the solutions for that is that you've got to give other guys a go.
Right.
And so I think we mentioned this before. I mean, something that Jurgen Klopp kind of realized in his time, and I think particularly in the COVID season when the team was very injury hit, was sometimes you just got to bite the bullet. And so what did he do? He threw in a couple of academy kids. So you've still got Reece Williams there, who's played first team football before. And hey, I mean, maybe it's not your desired player, but it gives another player a break. And I don't think Williams has even been on the bench this year. I think he might have in the West Ham game. Sorry, not the West Ham game, the Crystal Palace game in the League Cup. I don't think he played in it. And I think similar with Calvin Ramsey, who actually was one of the few success stories that night. And, he's a right back. So maybe Manchester City's not a good time to play him, but maybe there are other games where it's a good time to at least give him a run, give other players a rest, because you've got FA Cup games coming up, you've got Champions League coming up. And if he's seriously going to chase that, and really he's chasing top 4 at this point, then he's got to rotate more. And I think that was the lesson that he needed to learn last year, and he's kind of admitted it. Okay, they've got a week off before Manchester City, which is nice, and so he's got he should have no excuses there in terms of resting players and in terms of preparing his team to take on Manchester City, because they have a League Cup game, don't they, midweek? So yeah. I mean, I think it's going to be very, very interesting going forward for Arne Slot. He's had a good week now after the Bournemouth game, and what's he going to do next Saturday? Or actually, it's Sunday, isn't it, against Manchester City?
I believe so.
Yeah. I'm pretty certain it's on a Sunday. So he's got a good long week to get the lads ready to play.
Yeah, the Jeremy Doku, he got nicked up in the Champions League, and it looks like he will not be available for the Liverpool game, which would be nice, because he was outstanding first time around against us. So, Coach, as far as the market, there was some grumbling that Inter and Dumfries might be willing to sell, and maybe Curtis Jones go the other way. I'm not sure I love that deal. Dumfries is 29 years old. He is a right back, though. Coaches, I'm kind of looking to the future. Konate is out of contract in June. I believe so is Joe Gomez. That means three center backs need to come into the team. Is that?
I don't think that they would go for as many as 3. I think 2.
Leone will be coming back, right? So, yeah, okay.
But for me, I mean, as we said before, I think that this will be Salah's last season. Obviously, Virgil van Dijk hasn't had his best season, but I think he's worth taking into a second year anyway.
I agree.
I mean, they're not going to get a lot of money for him. Anyway, so I think it's worth keeping him for a season. You've got Leone. I mean, Konate played really well today, and you don't know whether a game like that where he connects with the crowd, he kind of says, "Yeah, I want to stay on."
Sure.
But I mean, Edwards and Hughes and company should know what's going on, and if they feel he's not going to sign, then they've got to line up 2. And they've already signed a couple of highly touted young players at academy level. I
saw that, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, and one thing that Arne Slot seems reluctant to do, in my eyes, certainly compared to Jurgen Klopp, is he's really not prepared to give academy kids a run. Or if it is, it's very limited. Ngamo has obviously got the most time this year, but I think a lot of people would say, well, under another manager, he might have got a lot more time. So, okay, they've signed these young hotshots, central defenders. Maybe they're not ready yet, but how is he going to fast track them, or is he going to fast track them? And again, coming back to his performance this season, I think that this is one thing that will be under the microscope in terms of the higher ups at Anfield. Where do Liverpool end up? How does he use players? Generally rotate? Is he is he giving sufficient chances to academy players? I mean, because now you've kind of got the big clubs kind of chase academy players from the smaller clubs. And so, I mean, how did Liverpool get Engamoa, for example? Because he was at Chelsea. And obviously, Engamoa didn't feel that there was a route to the first team at Chelsea because they're signing all these players. So he comes to Liverpool. Now, if that situation was occurring now, would he be coming to Liverpool? I'm not sure that he would be anymore.
Yeah.
Because Bridget doesn't seem as keen as Jurgen Klopp was to, to blood young players. So, whether we like it or not, I think that one of the themes through to the end of this season is going to be Arne Slot, and will he survive for a third season? And I think there's lots of questions to be answered.
Yeah, I think the addition of Xabi Alonso kind of being floating around available is, that doesn't lighten the load on Slot and the pressure that we potentially could provide there. So yeah. Yeah, Coach. Well, I think the Konate thing that felt good, right? That was a nice moment. That ball just kind of trickled over the line, and everything he's been going through, and that was really nice. That was a nice moment, and kind of watching the emotions.
I think he must have paid Nick Pope off, actually, because obviously, I mean, we'd be blowing our tops if that was the Liverpool goalie dropping that one. And but anyway, yeah, from a point of view of what he's been through in the last couple of weeks, that was kind of nice to see. And actually, he had a very good game today. So
yeah, he was physical. He was throwing his weight around. I really enjoyed his performance today.
Right, and so hopefully he can keep that up now, because we need him to, basically.
All right, Coach. Well, next week we got City. Like you said, on Sunday, big game. No Doku, so that's nice. And after that, Sunderland, and kind of a slower month in February. I think because we're out of the Caribou Cup, that it's going to lighten the load a little bit. But we do have a 4th round match, FA Cup against Brighton, and then we have 4 Premier League games.
Mm-hmm.
So another month of Liverpool football, and hopefully we can build on it, and let's see where we land next Sunday.
Yeah. Hopefully we can get this run going properly now, and say it's an unbeaten run. We're actually winning games.
Right. Yeah. Right. All right. If that's all, I guess that we will talk to you guys next time. But good performance, 4-1 victory, City next week, and if we get a good string of games of good performances and results, I think we'll all feel better. But let's enjoy this one for at least a week, and we'll go from there. Everybody, take care, and we will chat with you next time.
Bye now.